After looking at Texas, how concerned are you with the onside, or not the onside, the trick plays, gadget plays, and how much preparation time have you had to kind of use up?
Just enough to acknowledge them and prepare the best we can. It's one of the reasons why Boise is so effective offensively. It's not the only reason. They do many, many other good things and things well, and their coordinator is responsible for that. And so there was a few already in their game against Rice, and there'll be some against us. When they're going to come and what they are, I don't know. But sound assignment football is really the best way to combat it.
Talk about what you're expecting from your secondary, what you're going to need from them in order to be successful against Texas.
A lot of concentration, great eye control, and then they have to do a nice job finishing routes. Texas has a lot of speed. The ball will be thrown not only under, in the middle, and on top, and they'll be tested. And so they have to look at the right things first and foremost, and they have to make plays on the ball.
How much bigger of a test will this be than Ole Miss was?
Hard to say. You know, it's way early in the season, and so hard to predict and hard to know exactly how the teams compare. I think it'll be more difficult, but it's really a guess at this point.
Did you prepare in camp for or against onside kicks? Did you work on those at all?
We did. Not an increased emphasis in terms of volume of plays, but going into our game against Ole Miss, I think we'd practiced 3 times the chance to defend an onside kick.
Did you happen to see the one that Auburn did?
Yeah, I saw it on the airplane actually coming home, and boy, it's a shame. At Utah State, it sounded like they played a great game, and to lose the lead at the end like that, I'm sure was heartbreaking. But give Auburn credit for their execution, and ball bounces funny on onside kicks and just happened to go in their favor.
Texas ran 22 times in the fourth quarter against Rice. Can you tell me about the running backs and what you're seeing from them?
Yeah, they ran a lot in the fourth quarter, partly because of the lead they had and the control of the game they had established, but they have multiple running backs, and they're physical and they're fast. And so I'm impressed with their skill.
Kind of a back formation, a pro style.
Hard to say any one thing. There's about every formation that anybody could line up in is what you'll see. And again, I know I've made the comparison before, but if you just watch Boise State film, that's basically not identical, but that's basically what you're going to see.
Does Texas still have the cachet, the national reputation that maybe they had 5 years ago?
Oh, I think so. They're again ranked in the top. I'm not sure where they're ranked, but they're ranked in the top 20 or 25, as they are almost every year. They're bowl game participants with rare exception. They have some of the nicest facilities, largest budget, best coaches year in and year out. So I think most people in the game recognize that and still think it's the same.
Along those same lines, you spoke on Monday a little bit about it, but how do these guys go into Texas and not get too wide-eyed at the crowd, at the facilities, at all that?
I'm not sure. In a way, I want them to acknowledge it's a really neat place to play and a lot of history and a great venue, and so I'd like them to acknowledge it and then get super excited to be part of it rather than feel like that's going to work against them.
Quarterback Gilbert, talk about him and what he brings to the table.
Size, I think he's a fairly accurate passer with good mobility, and he won't be the only player they line up at quarterback. They'll line up running backs and others back there as well, but he's one of their weapons.
Is it very similar to what you maybe could expect from Ole Miss? Maybe a true
Yeah,
quarterback system?
it's not necessarily other quarterbacks that'll be playing there, it'll just be other skilled players. And so what traditionally now is called Wildcat, etc., they do their own version of that, and quite a bit of it.
What has to happen for you guys to win, to be successful?
Well, I think it's just a matter of increased execution from where we were a week ago. Field position will be really important, and ball security, those 2 things, and then it will come down to execution against execution, offense, defense. But let's say those 2 things are the same, then field position and who holds on to the ball.
What have you seen from your offense this week that makes you think they'll play better this week against Texas?
Well, I think they played fairly well last week. If you look at the number of drives they moved, they didn't finish the drives, but again, most of my practice time I'm watching the defense, and so I've seen just an increased resolve, an increased amount of efficiency, and hopefully that shows on Saturday. All right, thanks.